So I wanted to do a quick screen share video to take you through the initial stages of the link workbook, kind of what it is, the theory behind the link building that we're doing, how it ties into the site, and the key phrases, key terms that we're going after, and kind of a little bit under the hood on how it works. I mean, again, there's a lot of steps here, so I wanted to kind of preface everything with saying that, but I wanted you guys to have the information to kind of what we're working on kind of day in, day out, and behind the scenes of the entire process. So the sheet that you're looking at is what's called your link workbook, and I'm going to share this workbook with you so you can have full access to it. There's multiple tabs on the sheet. There's about 5 or 6, but the main ones we're worrying about, I just want to kind of take you through the target keywords and the kind of links that we're going after. And again, what we can do after this video, you can watch it, you can kind of go through and then kind of go back over questions and any kind of issues that you may have. So as you see here, the keyword key phrases that we're going to target, we centered them around new SAT, and then moving more from the SAT stuff into the some of the new blogs that we put out there. The new blogs on physical activity and diet and the relationship between the two. So what we do is that these are the different types of link types: resource, directory, roundup, guest post, broken link. And resource is like these sites provide resources around the new SATs. A roundup would be, an example of a roundup would be the weekly roundup of the best articles on the new SAT or something. So what the goal is that we're going out there and we're taking keyword key phrases. We're trying to find websites, let's say for a roundup. We're trying to find websites that are doing roundups that are saying, hey, these are great resources about the new SAT. And then what we do is once we find those opportunities or websites, we pitch them and we say, hey, we have great content on our site. You guys should really take a look at it. We'd love to be included in your roundup. And then once that process happens, then they come back and say, great, yeah, we'd love to have you there. And then we link that and then we verify it. So the first step is determining what those sites are. So we have to determine what those sites are. And they also have to, let me take you over to an example. This is now we're moving over into what's called the link database. Here's your link database. So here's, let me just do this one as an example. So we pre-qual the websites that we have to look for. This section called DA, or Domain Authority, which just basically means that the website has to be of a certain standard that Google's recognizing as a certain score, it's 0 to 100, that it's a reputable website. We definitely would like a link from it because it's going to improve our rankings. So we find websites that could be a resource based off the keywords. We first enter each one. So we start out, let me go here. I'll just take you through the process quick. We start out, we define the keywords that keyword key phrases that we really want to target. And then we identify the link types. And then what we do is we go over here to another doc and we enter each one of the keyword key phrases. And then this is, let me just move this over a little bit so you can see all of it. We then go into each one of these, what are called search engine operators. And what a search engine operator is for each of these, it dumps in, for these link types, we enter this into a search engine, this query. SuperScore, new SAT, top 10 resources, top 10 tools. We enter every single one of these search queries into Google, google.com, google.co.uk, Bing, Yahoo, DuckDuckGo. So it's a really intensive process of finding, entering all those. And we do this is again, under each one of the link types that we want. So let's just see, guest post. These are all guest posts, local blogs, if there's a manufacturer. Resources is one we go to all the time. Resources is good because we have content. Guest blogging, guest posting is for when we want to pitch a site that, hey, we could produce content for you. but we have a lot of great content, and that's what I like to take advantage of on the site. And the links are much more healthy. So anyway, so we go through every individual keyword, and we enter them into our search engine operators. We search each platform and each search engine with each of the search engine operators, and then we come back with, and then we evaluate each website based off the score, excuse me, the domain authority, to make sure the site's reputable enough. And then what we do is we start what's called a link book, or a link book database for you. So after we've done that, we figured out, okay, we've entered those the keyword key terms in our search engine operator. We've gone through the websites. We found that these is a good resource. It's got a good score, and it meets our keyword key phrase well. So then what we do is then we put them in the link database. Then the next step in the process is to identify the website. We've done that. And then what we need to do is, let me just shrink this page down so it's a little bit more so you can see it. We then need to find out the contact information. So we need to find out an email address, a person to contact. We always want to try to find a person. Sometimes it has to be info at. And then, in addition to finding the email address that's going to be associated with that page to try to get us on there so we can send the pitch, we need to verify the email address. So then we go out and we verify that this email address is good, and that it's not going to get kicked back. Excuse me. So then the next step in the process, and again, this is a quick look at your link book database that we've built up for you so far. Then what we do is then becomes the outreach portion. So everything's going up to now is all kind of preparation for the outreach. Then we move into the outreach. We have the one we've selected here. We need to reach out to them and say, hey, we have a really great piece. This is a roundup, so we'll take a look at the roundup. The outreach manager will look at it and say, hey, we have a great piece of content. It would really fit in well with the roundup that you're doing. Take a look at it. We'd love to hear your feedback. We want to be in your roundup. We pitch them, and then we follow up with them to make sure they receive the pitch and to see what their appetite is. Then we typically get a response to them about our offering, and then go from there. So if they accept, then we get the link on the site, and then we verify that it's live on their site, and then we record it all in this whole link manager workbook. It's a pretty in-depth process, and there's multiple people working on it. A lot of it's in the prep work, and a lot of it's in the outreach, and that's kind of why there's one area of this process where we're ahead of the game, where we're producing the content too. Sometimes we do this for an individual where the site has very thin content, and we need to produce it, or we need to do a lot of guest posting. Guest posting is good. That's where a guest post would be of, hey, we'd love to post on your site about this. We'll give you a piece of content and just link back to our site. I'll stop right here and just say that the reason we do this is that a natural link means that site A over here wants to link back to our site because we have good content on it. That's a natural link. There's a lot of, and we can kind of, more nefarious-ish type link building techniques out there. And the reason being is that this is one of the major ranking factors for Google. And the reason being is that the theory is that if Google sees that other websites trust your website, everything else being set up correctly, then they should inherently, and users should inherently trust that site as well. So the more kind of goodwill that we can get via links and healthy links to the site, the better that Google says the health of the site is, and then we move up in search rankings for where we want to be, and definitely focused around the search terms that we're trying to go after, like stuff around the new SAT, stuff around tutors, stuff around those search terms. So if it's saying these people are trusting them for links back relatively around these type of search terms, this body of work, we're going to trust them as well. That's the whole theory behind it. And we do this. This is called a manual outreach. A lot of companies, what they'll do is that they'll just look at their competitors and try to steal links off that. It's important to look at competitors and see what links they have. But this is definitely the way that we always approach it, and we believe it's based off all the guidance from Google directly of how they like to see stuff site structured. It's very labor intensive. That's why a lot of companies don't do it, and it demands a high level of organization and a process, and that's what we're kind of so proud to deliver. So there was a ton of information I just gave you, and I'm happy to have a call where you're hammering me with a million questions about this. And I just kind of wanted to show you a little bit under the hood of why we're producing the content we are, in addition to the local SEO, what we're doing to work on the health of the entire site. And again, we just completed this portion. I think we're around 150 link opportunities we built these opportunities based around the keyword, and we're going to work new keywords in every month as new pieces of content are created. So I'd be happy to chat about this, and we can do a screen share and a multiple discussion on it, and feel free to reach out. But I wanted to give you guys a resource of video that you can kind of go back to and to see what I was talking about with our full link building services. Okay, thanks so much.